The BBC's Director General, Tim Davie, is, to resign amid allegations that the broadcaster misled viewers by editing President Donald Trump's remarks in a documentary. Wow, the clip made Trump appear to say that his supporters should, quote, walk down to the Capitol and fight like hell. In fact, he said they should cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women, while the fight like hell remark was from a different part of the speech. Well, News Chief Deborah Turness has also quit over the controversy. So to discuss what that means next for the media landscape, let's bring in Rosa Prince, a UK political commentator from Bloomberg Opinion. Rosa, thank you so much for joining us. So what happened with the BBC and why?
Well, there was a report into the BBC's conduct, not just on this documentary about Donald Trump, but on a range of issues, including the BBC's coverage of Israel, including its coverage of trans issues and other kind of hot button topics that you might say are part of those sort of woke wars. And basically it accused the BBC of bias. There was a bit of a head of steam building, and over the weekend, as you say, Tim Davie and the head of news, Deborah Turness, have both now quit. And it really plunges the nation's broadcaster into a state of crisis, because the BBC is such a national institution here in the UK, but also around the world. So I think a lot of people will be looking to see what happens next and whether the BBC can get itself back on track, restore its reputation as a source of trust and honesty.
Rosa, what are the consequences of this?
Well, big consequences, as I say. Here in the UK, the hunt is on, obviously, for new leadership, and the BBC is due to have its charter renewed. It's, at the moment, funded by quite a unique source of funding, which is from subscription by pretty much everyone in the country. That has been undermined as the BBC's reputation has been undermined. But I think globally there are other consequences too. The BBC is a voice, it's supposed to be a voice, a beacon of freedom and something you can trust, a trusted source globally. I think that needs to be restored. And then there are broader consequences. For example, Donald Trump, who was very happy about the latest developments, the BBC documentary was perhaps raising some questions, maybe some valid questions about his conduct on January 6th. But instead, it's the BBC that has come into the firing line. And I think that's a product of these own goals. I think there were criticisms to be made of that Panorama documentary. Certainly, those were not editorial standards that any news organisation, Bloomberg, would not have done what the BBC did in that case, and also its honesty and approach in other areas. So I think the consequence here is that the BBC really is going to have to work hard to restore trust, and I'm sure that there will be lots of people globally who will be watching what happens.